Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Liz. Today is the April 2018 unveiling of the ArtSnacks box. If you're not aware with what that is, ArtSnacks is a monthly subscription service for art supplies. I'll link them down in my description below in case you want to check them out. But today I've been involved with them since January, so this is my fourth month with ArtSnacks, and I've been pretty pleased so far. So I will admit, in my previous unboxings, I didn't know what was inside. But this time around, I got this on Tuesday, and I was too excited, and I opened it. So I kind of know what's in here. But, so obviously I opened it. So, they typically give you like, I think it's like 4 or 5 items that are like high quality items. This is the card that comes in there and tells you what's in here. And if I just read this, I have a Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen. I don't know if I said that right. Twin tip black gray, and I'm assuming that's this here. Yep, Tombow. So here it is here. We got twin tip, so this little tip here and this little tip here. It's the same size, just different colors. So this is the black and the gray end. Okay, and then the second item is a Caran d'Ache Super Color Soft Aquarelle pencil. So basically it's a watercolor pencil. And I got it in yellow, and I've never used the Caran d'Ache Aquarelle version, so this will be interesting. I hear good things about Caran d'Ache, so this will be fun. And then we have the Daler Rowney Acrylic Artist Ink, which is in here still. I love these inks. I have a few of a different brand for when I do illustrations and I want to outline not in black. I use these inks because they're waterproof and you can put watercolor over them basically. So I'm assuming that's what this is here. Yeah, acrylic ink. So once you use it and it dries, it's completely water resistant, and then you can like watercolor over it. So I'm assuming that we can do some line work with this, and then like, you know, watercolor and stuff. So I've got some pretty vivid colors here. I got this bright green and yellow. And then I got a Robert Simmons short handle acrylic paintbrush. So it's an acrylic paintbrush, which is surprising to me because I don't know if they intend for us to use this to paint with the acrylic ink because it's an acrylic paintbrush, or what, because I'm gonna need a brush to paint with the pencil too. So lay down the ink and then, I don't know, I got tons of watercolor brushes, so it doesn't really matter. But this is a filbert style. So if you don't know what filbert style is, it's kind of like that kind of rounded tip, but it's flat. So like this is a round brush. You can see that because it's like round all around and it comes to a tip like that. Whereas filbert is flat and has a round surface. So anyway, but this will be interesting too. I've never heard of Robert Simmons, but that doesn't mean anything because I'm not reading articles about art every day. We got a bonus item in here. L'Aquarelle Canson Heritage watercolor paper. So this is Canson brand, which I'm familiar with. Truth be told, Canson isn't the best watercolor paper, but they probably have a line where it's pretty good. So like just looking at this paper, it's really thick. It says it's a, oh, it's okay, it's 300. So that's why it's so thick. I don't know if you can see that from here, how thick it is. But just hearing it too, it's like really kind of like almost like it's cardboard. But it looks like it's got a good texture to it. It's like a rough texture. It's probably just cold press, but it looks it doesn't say on here what if it's cold press or not, but I'm assuming it is. It's not hot press, I can tell you that. Anyway, here's my sticker of the month and my candy of the month, which I used to love these things when I was a kid. I would pretend they were aspirin. I don't know. I was a twisted kid, and I would like just chew on them thinking I was like helping myself. I don't know. I don't know what my little childhood brain was thinking. But anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and make something out of this, and as of this video, I have no idea what yet, so we'll figure that out and I'll talk about it later. Okay, so before I wanted to start on an actual piece of art with these ArtSnacks pieces, I wanted to kind of test them out because I'm not terribly familiar with these, and like the last couple times that I've done this, like I've always been kind of surprised by how these things go. So anyway, so one of the things that said in there is that this is acrylic ink, can be used like watercolor, so I'm going to try that. And I'm adding a little bit of water to this cup with the ink to kind of water it down and let that do its thing. I guess first thing I want to do is this Tombow marker says it's waterproof when dry, and you can do like a bunch of different types of thicknesses and stuff. So I've got the black end here, and I'm just gonna write, you know, so here's Tombow ink. That's just regular writing. I guess you can press harder. So we got black. It feels kind of rubbery, so it's interesting. And then you can do like fine tip, right? Fine tip is, I guess, basically close to my own writing, but now we have a gray end here, which the cap is gray. Do the same thing here. Tombow ink. We got gray. Fine tip. Sorry, my handwriting is atrocious. Okay, so I'm gonna let these dry because it says it's waterproof when dry. This is the yellow watercolor pencil, so I'll just go ahead and do a little coloring here. It's probably really hard to see because it's bright in my kitchen. And so and being that this is a yellow, it's probably not making things easier. But I've got, this is one of my brushes because the brush that came with this is an acrylic brush, and I didn't want to use it on watercolor just in case, you know. So I have my watercolor brush here. This is a cheapy brush I got from Hobby Lobby. It's called Master's Touch, but I really like them. Like my favorite is this number 8 round. So I'm using this, dipping in a little water, and then just testing it out here. Looks like it's spreading pretty good, and if you can see that, it's not leaving any lines behind, which is one of the things about watercolor pencils, is sometimes it can leave that line behind. So these are really good. This is a really nice pencil, and I might invest in some more in the future. I typically just use regular watercolor paints, but I am open to pencils, so that's neat. One of the techniques I use a lot is like, I don't know what it's called, but it's like removing the paint. So like you wet your brush a little bit and kind of remove the paint. So it seems to do that pretty well, if you can see that. Sorry about the brightness. No, that's not gonna work. Anyway, you can kind of see that there. Okay, so now I have my lime green, or it's very vibrant, acrylic ink that I've watered down. Doesn't even look like it's pulling up on the brush, but it's there, don't worry. So this, I don't use filbert brushes very much either, so I honestly don't have very many techniques to show for filbert brush, but it looks like it's doing pretty well as far as a watercolor. Let me try wet on wet here. So I'm gonna wet my paper just a little bit, see what happens. And it spreads really good. That was bad grammar. It spreads really well. Yeah, so it looks pretty good. I guess, yeah, and it's very transparent. It's very close to my yellow color though, so I'll be interested to see. Well, I gotta come up with an idea first to paint this, and then, oh, this is kind of interesting. I don't know if maybe, Anyway, so this should be dry by now. So I'm gonna take my watercolor pencil. I'm gonna kind of color over the tombow just a little bit. And then I'm gonna paint my water over it and just see what happens. Looks like it's pretty waterproof. I'm seeing a little bit of the ink come up. Yeah, it's coming up a little bit, but it's not terrible. I don't know if you can see like the line right there. Now, use the acrylic ink on top of it. This is just the fine tip. There's the deep black. And it looks like the acrylic ink doesn't really pull it up that much. And it could, well, okay, I take that back. There's a big smear right there. So, not 100% waterproof. I mean, I guess maybe if you let it dry and cure for like a while. It even looks like this gray ink. I got a blob of water on there and the gray ink kind of went away, so I'll use the same acrylic ink on this. And oh yeah, that is disappearing. So not waterproof as claimed, but that's okay. Definitely benefit of testing this stuff out before you try to do your drawing or whatever, because then you can get the behaviors. Yeah, the gray side is not waterproof at all. So you can see that it just completely washed. So yeah, just when you test these things out first, then it can kind of help you switch up your strategy on your drawing. So I'm gonna drop a little bloop. Let's see what happens here. That's the pure acrylic ink color, wet on dry. And it's definitely very vibrant. I think if for my drawing, since it's so close to my pencil, it's going to be hard to come up with something that doesn't just look like a washed out yellow something or other. But man, once this stuff dries, it's pretty dry. My water is getting kind of yellow, so it's coming off yellow. So layering should be good on this. Definitely. Well, it's acrylic, so it's going to dry. Waterproof. So layering, so it's like basically, oh yeah, look at that layer there. Let's see. That's pretty good. Layer upon layer upon layer. Okay, so now that I know what I'm working with, I am off to draw. Hey everyone, so I tried to execute my idea and I wasn't really happy with the way it was going, so I actually stopped it midway through and I tried it a different route. I'd already ruined like one of the 3 pieces of paper that they had given me, so I only have 2, but I originally was thinking of doing like a neon street sign Las Vegas scene because of the bright colors I had, but it just didn't work. So anyway, here's my final result. So here's the final product. Instead of the neon sky, I opted for like an alien landscape where there's like a black ocean and like a crazy sky. My computer, the colors are very bright and I can't really tell, but maybe your computer's different. But like basically I splattered masking fluid on the top to make the stars and then just painted over it. And then I used the pen to make the ocean, and I kind of took advantage of the water solubility of these markers, which aren't supposed to be water soluble, but they smear. And I tried to make that transition on the beach there. I don't know if you can tell, but yeah, so I guess I mean, I really like the pencil and I really like the ink. I'm not as huge of a fan of the pen. I think it's a texture thing for me, just the way the rubber tip hits the paper. But that's just me. So it's kind of like some people don't like to use chalk pastel because it's like gritty and bleh. But anyway, so these 2 pieces of paper on the other side is my previous attempt, and so if that can like attest to the quality of this paper, I have stuff on both sides of this paper. So anyway, well, that's it for this time. And if you're interested in subscribing, just click on my portrait on the right. And if you'd like to know when I subscribe or when I post, just click on the bell. And I will see you next time for another art video. Bye!